All right, we are live. We are live. There is a little bit of delay, everyone, just to let you know, between what we say here and what people hear. But we will give it just a few minutes to see if anybody will join us, and then we will get started. So I hope everybody's having a great day today.
Sounds good. Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Excited to be here for our very first AVA Live Q&A
Yes.
session. We finally
Very.
did it. We did it. We did it. We did it. A lot of hard work. So let's see. Let's see if anyone is joining in. We will give them a little bit of a moment. And if not, we will allow them to trickle in as our conversation goes.
In the meantime, Robin, I just got a message from a 30-year career voiceover actor director, does dubbing in Spanish.
Oh, interesting.
And
Yes.
she sent me her link, and so I will forward her information to you. And she got it off of Facebook.
Definitely. Yes.
She wants to help Ava, she says.
And I had someone
Maybe you know her.
I had someone else reach out to me too. I wonder if it's the same person. Someone reached out to me on Instagram about, hey, I would love to, come in and offer my services.
Was it Maria? Maria?
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. So that's excellent. That's great. That's great. And I had a big meeting with a top audio editing coach last night too, and she's going to be helping us out as well. She's excited about that. So,
it's Mariana Gomez.
No, she's not. That's not who reached out to me.
Latin American Spanish dubbing director, talent, and translator with almost 30 years on the dubbing and voiceover business.
Wow.
I'm guessing she probably does English in addition to the Spanish as well then, if she's reaching out to us. So that's great. That is great. No, that's great. Excellent. Excellent. And I will tell you this, over the last 2 days, linking to my social media when I'm posting AVA posts are other training companies. I think they're very interested in what we're doing, and other coaches too. So that's very interesting for us.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't see anyone in yet, but we can go ahead and get started if you guys don't mind.
That's good.
Sure.
David, can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you check our YouTube page to make sure that it is streaming there?
All right. Give me a minute.
No problem. Because I feel like we're having some streaming problems because I don't see it on Heidi's page for some reason.
Let's see.
And I opened up my page. I typically have it closed to friends only. And I opened it up to everyone for the duration.
Okay.
Jackie sent me a little reminder. I was like, oh, good point.
I'm trying to check for you too. Okay, this is our. We are on YouTube.
Okay.
We are live. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. That is wonderful. So good.
We are.
It worked. All right. So at least we're streaming in one place. So I will say, let's go ahead and get started. And if people join, they join.
That's good.
So, welcome to, like I said, our first AVA live streaming. Today, we're going to be talking about everything AVA, everything voiceover world, everything helping the autistic neurodivergent space for those that are interested in voiceover. So before we jump in, I want you to know who's on the call today because we have some very important people here joining us today. So just for, a second, just give me a brief intro of who you are, your role in AVA, and how you kind of tie to voiceover or the neurodivergent space. So I will start with our two founders, Robin and Heidi. I'll defer to you first, Robin.
I was going to say go to Heidi for alphabetical order. So it's interesting. I think this all started when I was teaching and coaching for a very large training program that I realized that I had a lot of people coming into class who were autistic. They disclosed, but the program was not a good fit. And they were telling me that there were so many walls that we had hit where it wasn't a good fit. And I kept that in the back of my mind. And, Heidi can tell the story of how we met, but when I collided paths with Heidi, we decided this was something that we really wanted to do. And to our surprise, as hard as we looked, we couldn't find anybody else that did this, which was unbelievable to us. So here we are.
Wonderful. Thank you,
Thanks,
Robin.
Robin. And my connection is from the autism side. I have been a life coach for almost 10 years, and people kept pushing me to specialize in autism because my husband's on the spectrum and I have family members on the spectrum and a lot of experience with it. And I finally took that leap and specialized in coaching autistic adults. And I met Robin because I was looking for something fun to do in my own personal life. And I attended one of her amazing webinars. And of course, it drew me in, and I booked a date with her. And we spent an hour playing in voiceover. And then she asked me what I did and how I knew our board chair, who you'll meet another time. And I told her I was a coach and I specialized in autism. And boom, it was almost like AVA was born in that moment.
Nice. Thank you, Heidi.
Yeah.
And David.
Hi, I'm David Gunter. I am autistic, ADHD, the full combo platter with all sorts of other bits and pieces that we'll talk about some other day. I didn't figure out that I was autistic till I was in my early 50s. And since then, I've been trying to be more and more of an advocate for people like me, people who spent a big chunk of their life knowing that they were different and not knowing why. People who, my particular focus is on communication in the workplace and just trying to build some bridges between the autistic community and the non-autistic community. So I know absolutely nothing about voiceover. I'm one of our autistic members of the board, though, who are here to be sure that we're represented.
Gotcha. Thank you. And that's the great thing about our board. We have people representing all aspects of what AVA is trying to tackle and to address and to help. So I am Erica Brown. I'm also a board member, and I'm also a voiceover artist. And I was actually trained in part by Robin Brooks, which is how
we didn't know that either when you came. Heidi brought you, and we were like, wait a minute. Yeah, we did not realize that. Yeah.
Very serendipitous.
Yes,
how I got here. But we are glad to be here. We're glad to be working with this organization. We have some people joining in now. If you are joining in, again, this is just an open Q&A about AVA, or Autistic Voiceover Artists. Feel free to drop questions in the chat, comments in the chat. We are here for you to answer any questions you have about what AVA is offering, about voiceover, about anything we can do to help you in this space. So because our newbies viewing may not have heard what you and Heidi said, Robin, about AVA and what it represents, can you just go over that one more time? Like, what is AVA trying to do? What is the goal of this organization?
I think the big word is inclusion. Some of the most talented voice actors, performers, artists that I know are autistic, ADHD, are having trouble navigating the industry, maybe want to up their knowledge, work in a different space than where they're working because there's so many different genres. And so we are here to provide everything that so many different people need, because everyone's different in what they need, in an inclusive way. And we also have what Heidi is pretty much, and David coming in too, are in charge of, is the autism support, in addition to just the voiceover knowledge, which I think is one of the amazing things about our program.
Gotcha.
And I would add affordable, because the big academies or the big institutions that are out there that are offering this commercially are very expensive. And when Robin and I were giving birth to Ava, one of our values was this has to be affordable and accessible. And so for a very low cost, you're in it for a very low commitment, because if you don't like it, then it's an easy out. But it's also really easy to get in and get involved.
Yes, I think, and Erica, you know this as well. I mean, a lot of the bigger programs, which are offering no better expertise than what we are offering. I mean, we have top of the line expertise and experience, but a lot of the bigger programs are locking you in to one big old price that, if you were halfway through and you said, okay, I guess I don't want to do this anymore, you're locked in, you're responsible for that price. And I think the one thing that Heidi and I knew was, not just in the autistic community, but in the creative community, we want people to stay as long as they want to, but also have the ability to say, okay, I'm done after this month. You're not locked into anything. And I think, we're very transparent about everything. And people have the will to come and go as they choose. And if you leave, you could come back next year if you want to. Right. So that's, I think, just really a great thing that we offer.
Yeah, I will agree with the price. I know when I was going through my initial training, it was quite costly. And one other thing I would say about the training that we offer is it encompasses the spectrum. It's not just, the initial commercial narration. There's some trainings on animation, other things. So you get to taste a little bit of all the different niches, and kind of that helps you decide, like, well, where do I really fit? Where does my voice go? As opposed to being just boxed into this one niche from the start. So I love that about what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of people come in thinking this is the area I want to be in. But after they stick their toe in the water of the different areas, they're like, wait, I didn't even know this existed. I might like this. So that's great too.
Yeah. So
and
go ahead,
AVA also provides some support resources. The getting along in any business environment is not easy for people whose brains don't work the way most people's brains work. So we're trying to roll out, in addition to the voiceover training, just some support resources for how to take care of yourself, how to move forward in the world when you see it from a slightly different angle. And I also want to reiterate sort of, Robin and Heidi's point. There's a difference between inexpensive and cheap. This class is much less expensive than other classes out there, but the sheer volume of stuff, the variety of stuff, the quality of stuff, it is something I'm proud to be a part of.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, David.
I would also add this, Erica, as David talks about support. The one thing that is my passion that I was working on before Heidi and I even really came together about AVA is how important what you usually think you have to learn for voiceover stuff is. So we know we need to know our equipment and how to talk into the mic and some acting classes. We know all of that stuff. How do I get myself out there? We know all of that. But the stuff that I really love to focus on, and we're going to have a whole section in our coursework, is the voiceover mindset. And that is, going through things like fear and procrastination and all of those things that we may have a great mic. We may have had lots of coaching and great skills, but we might get people that come into the program that are voiceover people, but they're just not clicking. They're just not figuring out how to get from where they are now to that thing that they want. And a lot of the key to that is the mindset stuff. And we're going to have a full area of that as well. And I think a lot of programs don't delve that heavily into that.
I would completely agree with that. It's more like you say, this is the training. Now go get your demo and you're kind of on your own.
Yep.
And it's so much more, especially that very first time, if you walk into like a live studio where you have an engineer and you're just there in the room and you have people talking in your ears, it can be very overwhelming. And that imposter syndrome can get to you. And it takes a little while to settle down. So if you can learn how to manage that mindset before you get in those situations, I think you will be so much better off.
Absolutely, because you're anticipating people with neurodiversity have sensory issues. So just wearing headphones can be distracting, or like you said, sounds coming from different voices. Absolutely. And that's where AVA, we're understanding, we get it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have a few more people joining. If you are just joining, again, we are talking about everything AVA, autistic voiceover artist. Please feel free to ask your questions in the chat, chime in, let us know you're there. In fact, if you're listening, let us know where you're listening from right now in the chat, just so we know that you're real people. I know you're real people, but I want to know that you're real people. So hit us up in the chat. But question, you were just talking about sort of the differences and how people with neurodivergence, and I know I'm saying that wrong probably. And I guess my question is, are there any myths or concerns that you think that people who are listening right now who are autistic may be saying, you know what, I can't do this. I like it, but there's something that just says I can't do it. Can you sort of talk to that?
Robin, you want to tell that story?
Well, there's too many stories to tell. But I have two myths. And one might be the story you're talking about, Heidi. And one is that people with autism are monotone. And I want to tell you that in general, I have an extremely monotone voice, and that is how I make my money. I'm hired to be that villain, that bored, oh, please, I can't be bothered person. So even if you were, in fact, monotone and could not go up or down, there's still work for you as long as you know where you are and where you fit and where you can go. But what I have discovered is that most of the people telling me this are autistic people. So I'm not sure where they are getting it from, but also a lot of the people that I'm working with that say, hey, can you help me? I have a monotone tone. They don't. They absolutely, as I'm doing now when I'm talking, I'm going up with my pitch and down with my pitch. And they, when you're angry, that's one sound. When you're sad, you look depressed, you're going to be more monotone. And I think as people learn how to use pitch and how to vary sound, they're going to realize that it's not true. The other thing is that I'm too loud. I get that a lot. I'm the first person to say that I was that kid that every single person, my parents would always say, stop being so loud. And I just chalked it up to wanting to be a stage actress and projecting to the back wall. But I think this is the story you're talking about, Heidi, where we had someone in a class who had his camera off. And David, you might have even been there for that class, but he told the story of how his teacher, and I got the impression this was elementary school stage, his teacher would always tell him that he was too loud. And he continued to be loud, which in my opinion is probably more excitement than anything. He just did not understand. That's me. I have that problem of being excited about everything. So she would put him out in the hall, and he would sit out there and miss the entire class and also feel separated from everybody. And the entire class that we were in, the AVA class, started rallying around him and saying, you can do this. You're not too loud. And he turned his camera on. I get chills just thinking about that. I think maybe you were there, David, for that class. And that one little AVA class, not just the information we gave, but the community. Yeah. The community is, I think, what sets us apart from other voiceover programs because, everyone can relate to everyone in some way, even though we are all still different. You know, there will be different fears and strengths and weaknesses, but I think it's a common ground place to come to learn. Yeah. So being monotone, being too loud, those are two misconceptions that I have found so far not to be true, because even if you are loud or monotone, you can always learn how to adjust.
Right. Right.
Don't believe that you can't, because you can.
Thank you.
And in that same class, when everybody was, you know, speaking up and supporting this gentleman, another person spoke up and said, well, I've been recorded before, and I think she did a commercial. It was a public service announcement, and she did it for us in the class.
Right.
And I think that speaks to how safe Robin makes people feel in this setting, and how Ava is going to make students feel safe and accepted, so that this fun side, the practice side, can come out.
And you can come to classes and not turn I get a lot of people that have come to multiple classes so far of the free classes we've been doing, and slowly, eventually, they'll start they'll have their camera on for the next class. Because I think, you know, I'm not calling on anybody that doesn't want to do anything. And I think for any participation classes, like, hey, we're going to read scripts, you can sign up to be a person that's chosen. And even if you change your mind, that's okay. You don't have to. You could have your camera off and watch those that want to participate do, and then hear the feedback that I give or that whatever instructor gives, and you would still learn. You would still learn from the feedback. You don't have to, you know, come out into the room, if you will. But then if you want to, you can too. Or maybe for the next class you can. So there are no hard rules set. That sometimes I have taught classes where the school that I'm teaching for says, hey, all cameras have to be on. People need to engage. And I know that you can be engaged without having your camera on and without making eye contact. So, and I never take offense if someone has their camera off or they're not looking at me, because I know how that feels too. So
yeah, I've been in those trainings where you had to have your camera on.
You have.
I have. It can be intimidating. It can be challenging, just because sometimes you need to not see anything, right?
You want to learn.
Yes. So I appreciate that about what Ava is doing. So I see we have some more people joining us. Again, feel free to drop your questions and comments in the chat. In fact, I have a question for the audience. Who out there, are you a voiceover artist now looking to upskill? Or are you somebody that's kind of like, I'm interested in voiceover, I heard about it, I kind of want to get into it? Let us know kind of which end of the spectrum you're on in the chat. We would love to know who's watching us out there.
I also love what you asked earlier, Erica, about where are you? I don't know why whenever I start a class, I always love to know where people are. The last class we had Spain, UK, California, Boston. I just love to know where people are, that they're, you know, it's the amazing thing about technology. We can all be here.
We have somebody from Massachusetts and someone from New York.
Cool.
Normally from, I think MI is Michigan.
Michigan.
Okay. I was a science major, okay? So we have someone who is interested in trying to get into voiceover. Okay. In New York. All right.
I would point out exactly what you have on the screen now. If you are interested and want to know a little bit about the industry and what do you need, what skills do you need, what equipment do you need, the class that is on the banner on the bottom there, Voiceover 101, How to Get Started. This is a free class that Ava offers, and here are the times and the days. Those are coming up. You just have to go to the Ava website and register, because it doesn't let you just come in. You just have to, there it is. You can look at that. Look how good you are, Erica. Just go to the website and you can get registered. It's free. And that way you can get the link that brings you into the class. And it's an hour class. And then I stay on for Q&A at the end. You can ask whatever questions you want from what you learned in that class too. Yeah.
So I hope that helps.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome. We're so glad you're here.
Yes. So you talked about the free classes that you have, that we have. I would love just to kind of give a very high level overview of what the subscription looks like. Because we kind of talked about what AVA does, but we haven't really completely told them like what the subscription is. Because can we talk about that for a second?
So the subscription is 2 classes every week. And they might be lesson classes where you're learning information, or they might be practice classes or classes where, you know, there's, as I'll call it, floor time, where there's scripts that you can read from. So for instance, I just taught a voiceover for animation class, and everybody wanted to read scripts at the end of that class. So that's the perfect class where that week we might have the actual learning part of the class. And then the next class that week might be the playtime, or maybe that would be the next week, because, you know, you might not want to come to 2 classes in a week. So there are those types of classes. We will also have challenges where when we've been learning a certain item for a while, you know, we might have a commercial script and people can either record them and send them in, or we can do them live there, and you can have your camera off, you know, if you're more comfortable reading it with your camera off, or if you just want to listen to people that are doing it. We'll have all of those things, and a video library where you can go 24/7, just go in and watch whatever you want. And it's everything from, you know, audiobooks to animation to video games to the little nitpicky things like, what is a non-disclosure agreement, which is something you come across in video games and dubbing, or what is a lead-in line? If you're a voiceover person, you know what I mean. How do I set up my recording space? How do I set up my equipment? All of those things. But it's going to go, Erica, from beginning to advanced, but we're not separating you. You can visit whatever modules you want. You might want to get a taste of the advanced if you're a beginning. Or if you're advanced, you might say, hey, maybe there's something I don't know in here, and you're going to go there. So just a whole big array of stuff that is going to only build through time. We'll have more people coming in. We'll have people in the program saying, oh man, I wish we had more of this. Or can you do a class on that? And we're going to be receptive to that. We're going to respond to that and have that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's important to note that for all those recorded video sessions, they're broken into chunks, 10, 12, 15-minute chunks. So if you need to just focus for 10 minutes, then walk away for 10 minutes, great. It's built for that.
Or if you want to bounce around.
Or if you want to bounce around, if you want to binge 8 hours of classes in a day, if you're hyper focused and you just want to go through 6 hours of classes today, all of that is there for you, and it's however you learn, you have the freedom to learn that way.
Wonderful.
And Heidi,
the bonus material on the autism side, you know, what's the difference between coaching and therapy? Why does coaching work? There's one in there about affirmations, because anyway, there's a different way for doing it. David and I are going to do one on autism in the workplace. There's one we're going to do on pathological demand avoidance, and a lot on strategies. To the point, here are some ideas for you for workarounds. You know, to working with your brain and with your strengths, instead of focusing on what doesn't work for you. We're always looking for that win. So we call that our bonus material.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. I was writing down 4 words because as you guys were talking, what I heard was holistic approach, flexible, inexpensive, and professional. That's what you're getting when you do this training and you are part of the subscription with AVA. Does that capture it?
I love that.
One more, community.
Community, yes. There you go.
You're going to find like-minded people learning at the same time, because, you know, let's face it, learning something new is awkward and uncomfortable. And but being with people who are in the same place you are, learning the same things with that same passion in a really safe place. That's community.
Yes. Thank you for that, Heidi.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So I know, was anybody else going to say anything before I? No? Okay. So I know we're coming up on time, and I want to make sure that everybody that's watching has a chance to ask a question. So I'm going to ask one more time. Drop your questions in the chat. If you don't have a question, let us know if this was helpful. Maybe it's something else. We're going to be doing this again. We're going to have another live on April 22nd at 7 p.m. So if it's something that we didn't address today, let us know in the chat, and we'll be happy to come back during that date to address that question. But before we go, I do want to let you guys know that we are having a special right now. The official launch date for the subscription is April 22nd. That's when you'll be able to get into the actual training and dive into all the pieces that will help you on the journey. But right now we are offering a pre-sale special. So the price of the subscription is $49 a month. Okay. But if you buy in now, you'll get that first month for $29. So when you go in on April 22nd, that first month will be $29. Is that an accurate description, everybody? Did I do it justice?
You did a great job.
You're awesome. You should be a voiceover actor.
And,
Oh, look at that.
and just to clarify, the 29 is if you pay that 29 between now and March 31st.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
But the program actually starts on the 22nd of April.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Great job, Erica.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll wrap up by saying, I want to ask you guys, all you guys, just one last question. If anyone is unsure or they're scared about joining and taking this step with AVA, what would you say to them?
I have my answer. I would say come to a free class.
Yeah.
Come to a free class. And I think you can really experience it. So we have tomorrow at 3 p.m., the Voiceover 101. That's a very basic class. We also have one of those on April 5th. And I know we have another one coming up in April that is Audiobooks 101 as well. And that is on the 19th of April at 1 p.m. That's on a Saturday. So
Robin, let me jump in for 1 second. We've had a couple of people asking in the chat if the paid window is live now on the website. And yes, you can go to the website today through the 31st and get that pre-sale rate of $29 for your first month.
Also on the website, if you'd like to try one of the free classes, you can register there on the website. I think there are buttons and everything everywhere to tell you, register for a free class. You can do that there while you're there on the website. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I agree with Robin completely. Come to the class. It's not a high pressure sales pitch. We're not gonna lock you in a room and tie you to a chair and put a spotlight on your face.
There's no sales pitch.
There's no sales pitch.
It's a class.
It is literally Voiceover 101. Here's the kind of equipment you need to get started.
Yeah.
Do you need an agent? Yes or no? How do you find work? It's real information, real valuable information for free. And if you want to join us, great. We're here. But there's no high pressure sales pitch on that.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you all. I think we answered all the questions. We have the website on the page right now. Please go over there, join the free class, join the subscription, or even just register to be on our newsletter. I think we have a link where they can just, they can be on our newsletter. So you
I
can
would also say follow us on social media too, because we have a TikTok, we have an Instagram, we have a YouTube, we have a Facebook, we're on LinkedIn. So follow us there because we will usually post information there as well. Yeah.
We just
Twitch
launched the
Blue
Twitch.
I believe.
Just launched the Twitch last night. So I'm not sure there's anything there yet, but it does exist.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. We are we're worldwide.
We are actually.
Worldwide.
Yeah, we are.
Wonderful. Well, if there are no more questions from you guys out there, Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope to see you in one of the classes soon. Yeah. Have a great day, everyone, and we will see you again on April 22nd at 7 p.m. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.